listen to your consumer. I mean, that's it. At some point, the brand becomes too big for the company to hold on to, and it's being owned by your customers, and it means something to them. Look at. I'm not sure if the Gap is over there, but when the Gap here in the U.S., large U.S. mall anchor store retailer, changed their logo, they didn't really listen to people, and it was a massive uproar. And I mean, it was insane. People were boycotting the Gap and some things that were pretty silly.
Because they changed the logo?
Changed the logo,
What?
and they actually, and there's very few companies that would have done this, but they actually went back. They reverted it back to the old logo, and they haven't changed it since. And it's
Wow.
interesting. Yeah, they didn't listen to the people. They were thinking the issues with, their declining mall store revenue and the proliferation of the internet. They thought that they needed to change and adapt, but they changed the wrong thing. They didn't change
Yeah.
their price points. They didn't change how they met their consumers. They changed the logo, thinking that would become more modern, and it became the thing that people really got pissed off on. So it's really just about listening.
Yeah.
Should we go into this new vertical? Should we offer this new product line? And I'm not saying
You
you have to,
know?
offer that to everybody, but talk to your core
Yeah.
audience. Do case studies and do groups and do some research and see. But it comes down to that one word is listen and see what you get
Yeah.
back.
You know what that reminds me of the hedgehog, of the Sony hedgehog,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
everybody hated him, and then they need to change him because he was so ugly. And they changed the character afterwards.
yeah.
So,
But
so the,
look, then spawned movies and apparel and all these things that, again, like you just illustrated my point, and that's listen to your customers and give them what they want. And they're not always right, because Steve Jobs famously said something to the effect of, don't listen to the customer, they don't know what they want yet. But he's coming from an innovation standpoint, so you have to kind of take that cautiously. But in general, your customer knows more about your brand than you. They don't know the bottom line better than you. They might know the product roadmap better than you. They might not know those things, but they probably won't. But they'll know the brand in a way that it's very difficult for somebody on the inside after time, once it takes hold, to speak on the same level of the brand that your customer would.
yeah, I know that you're talking in many cases when you're thinking about yourself as a leader, a creative leader, and I want to hear what you're thinking about the topic that is in my mind all the time, which is generative AI and how would it influence creativity and in general creative professionals. And
Mhm.
we have Mid Journey and OpenAI and everything. So how do you think that would influence what we're seeing?
Right now I think it's too young. I've seen the open AI, and I think it's pretty interesting, but it's still really rudimentary. So if you ask, I saw something recently. Somebody said, I asked the AI machine to paint me a photo of, or paint me a painting of a caveman taking a selfie, and it was just it was really rudimentary. It was like it did it, it understood it, but creativity doesn't come from a machine. It fundamentally can't. And I think you can get the building blocks from a machine, from artificial intelligence. I asked it to write me a story the other day, and it was very simple. It was along the lines of a nursery rhyme, or Jack and Jill went up the hill, and it's very
Yeah.
simple. The It might get there, but you're never going to have that human component when things are creative. And so I think we were made that way. I think we were made to be creators. I think we were, as humans, we have a unique ability that I don't think will ever be able to be mimicked. And that is to dream up, to imagine, to wonder. And by doing that, that's where creativity lies. And I believe I'm a believer that everyone is creative. I think that everyone in some right, and it doesn't need to be even like fine arts, or even things like cooking, or things that we think are kind of like artistic. I think how we express ourselves, how we speak to people, how we are at work, how we are in relationships. I think we can be creative in those moments, and that's something that can just never be replicated by machines. And if it does happen in my lifetime, I think I'll be scared to death, because one, I'll be out of a job, but two, I've seen enough Terminator movies to know that doesn't end well.
Yeah. You remember
I think.
the Spielberg movie AI, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I know when
Yeah.
it was such a scary movie. It was
Yeah.
with robots, but still, it was really scary. So I want to go and drill into you as a creative director, and I want to read a quote that I read, that you pride yourself on growing people first and building a high performing team based on trust and vulnerability. So
Mm.
the last word is usually not used within the context of leadership.
Yeah.
So how do you see leadership, business leadership, and how do you think that vulnerability is important and essential to it?
I mean, that's a big shift going from AI to human
No,
vulnerability, but
it's going from branding to leadership, and then I say, okay, I have another question related to leadership. So it's not related to AI, of course.
um, yeah, I mean, I just believe in general that, and this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about, ironically, and that's just being humans. And I firmly believe that we deeply desire human to human connection, and I think there's an innate drive for us to be with people and to enjoy company, to enjoy groups, to enjoy tribes, if you will. I think it absolutely fuels the idea of brand, and which I think is probably one of the reasons I'm in this industry. But as a leader, and listen, I'm almost 50 years old. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and the bulk of my career, 44, 45 years or so, was leading the wrong way, was thinking typical corporate America. You had to rule with an iron fist. You fire people on a dime. You treat people who are below you as not equals. And I saw how that not only affected other people's lives and tore people down rather than building them up, but it was selfish, and there was ways that you just don't feel good at the end of the day. And if I told you, wake up tomorrow and spend the entire day doing everything for yourself, don't open doors for people, don't help people, just be incredibly selfish, and then take note of